Dudes and dudettes. So yesterday Duke had a first exhibition game, so it doesn't really count towards the season, but they did beat up on Virginia Union 106-64, and two guys that I think are the stars, RJ Barrett and Zion Williamson, combined for 52 points. So they look on par as they were in Canada, so that's good to see. Hopefully it can continue in their first real game against Kentucky in a few weeks. And also other USC football recruiting news. In 2020, the 4-star wide receiver Kris Hutson, who committed from St. John Bosco, decided to decommit kind of after his teammate Kris Steele did the other week, but I'll get to Kris Steele and more into his decision a little bit later. But yeah, we don't really know the official news why. He just thanks USC. We don't know officially if USC is still in the running or not for him, but we'll soon find out. We still have another year or so till he's finally on campus if he does decide to come back to USC, so we'll have to wait and see. Then also the USC quarterback JT Daniels is still in concussion protocol, and the third string quarterback Jack Sears is preparing to start, so he's taking all the first team reps and doing all the passes for everything right now as if he were the starter. So in case if JT Daniels does not get cleared, then he's ready to go. So it's going to be very interesting to see a USC third string quarterback play. He's still talented enough, came from the same high school as Sam Darnold. Doesn't mean he's going to be the same exact player, but you never know. He does have some talent. And then more on that Kris Steele news, the ex 4-star cornerback that decommitted the other week. Apparently he got more into why, and that USC is still in the running for him, and he's still interested in a lot of other schools. That's why he just wanted to take more of his time, do more of his due diligence with the other schools, but also mentioning that the coaching staff at USC hasn't really developed players at his position, so he's kind of worried about that. But he still says USC's in the running. They still have a chance. He's probably going to wait until National Signing Day, which is in February, to officially commit. I thought he might have done it during December, which he can do it early, but you just never know, because he probably wants to do another official visit to Florida around that time when he could during a bowl game. So hopefully we're still on his radar, at least high on his radar. I know that we still are, but he's one of my favorite players, so hopefully we can still snag him when it comes to National Signing Day. And yes, the Lakers did lose, I believe it was Monday, to San Antonio Spurs. Sucks. It was a highly scored game, 142-143, I believe the final score was, in overtime. LeBron hit a game-tying 3 to go into overtime, but of course towards the end when they were up by 1 point, even though they were up a bit more than that just a few seconds before that, but he does get fouled and he misses both free throws. And Patty Mills for San Antonio comes and hits a 2. They're up by 1. And they give LeBron another shot, and he just decides to do a fadeaway 2-point shot. And even though he had a lane to go through and maybe contest and maybe get fouled again, but he decided to go for the jump shot and misses it. Just tough because he's made that shot before. It's just, I don't know, maybe it's just too much jitters being in LA now and trying to make that first win of the season, but hopefully we get that soon. I know we're playing Phoenix next, so that should be winnable, but they are a better team, a lot younger, but they are getting better, so we gotta see what that's gonna go. And then after the game against San Antonio, Luke Walton, coach of the Walton, had a few choice words about the officiating. He finally let out his frustrations about that none of his players are really getting any foul calls, especially they're the ones driving to the basket more often than any of the other teams are, but yet his team is the one getting fouls called on them. Even plays that were happening for James Harden when they played against the Rockets, LeBron James wasn't getting them in the San Antonio game, which is kind of weird. So of course when he does that, then you're gonna get a a fine from the NBA, so he got fined $15,000. And then there's also like a list going around saying that him and the Minnesota Timberwolves coach are kind of like the top guys to be fired, which kind of is weird because Lou Walton's in his 3rd of 5 years of his contract, and I think they're still going to stick with him at least one more year after this, but they're not going to fire him the first year into LeBron's reign in LA. And then for Duke right there is a picture of all their freshmen up for awards watch lists. Pretty cool. I didn't even know that Trey Jones, the rookie or freshman point guard, was up for an award as well. That's awesome to see. And then also RJ Barrett was named the AP preseason All-American team. That's very cool to see. Obviously they have more hopes for him, but obviously for some reason college basketball doesn't think so and didn't rank them high. I just still don't understand why they're ranked 4th, but we'll obviously let the season play out and we'll show them what we're made of. And then the USC linebacker senior Cam Smith was named a top 10 finalist, I believe it was, for the top senior award or something like that in college football. So congrats to him. But buddy, you got to get more playing time to be able to be considered as like a true top 5 finalist, I believe. So hopefully he comes back this weekend. He didn't really play as much last week, so hopefully he'll be back. So someone from Bleacher Report did a thing of blockbuster trades they want to see in the NBA. And of course they have to do a trade for the Lakers that I've already been saying to do the past 2 years. If you probably go back in my history of videos, you'll see of Lakers stuff that I wanted them to trade or people I wanted them to trade for. And obviously the power forward / center Nikola Vucevic, who's also an ex-USC player from the Orlando Magic, they want to see him traded to the Lakers. I think it solves an issue of consistent scoring for the Lakers at the center position, and you don't have to worry about it, but it does also give up some defense because he's not really that great of a defensive player. But if you're just looking to outscore people, in today's NBA, it's not enough. You still need enough guys to be able to play defense towards the end of the games, and JaVale McGee isn't enough, so you still need other guys, but it's going to be very interesting to see what they do. And then the defensive player for the Anaheim Ducks, Jakob Silfverberg, was put on injured reserve, so that sucks. He's one of our better players, and he got put on there, and just sucks to see. I mean, there might be a chance he could come back, but I doubt it unless they make the playoffs, and it's already not looking good for them. So yes, going through the past 2 teams, USC and Chargers, final games of their schedule, definitely looks like they have an opportunity to at least finish with respectable records, at least USC in this case, because they have Arizona State this weekend, who's been up and down, but they've always played really well against the better teams on their schedule. That's the only thing you have to worry about this weekend, pretty much, because Oregon State seems like a W, Cal seems like a W, even though it's a rivalry game. Then you go to UCLA, they're kind of finally starting to win, but I still think they're a pretty beatable team just because of how much they struggled early this year. Then Notre Dame is obviously the toughest one because they got hot when they started their newer quarterback Ian Book, but I don't know, they've been struggling too the past couple weeks against some crappier teams than USC, so that's why I say there's a chance, and it's a huge rivalry game, and it's in the Coliseum, which will be great. So hopefully we can play spoilers for them, and with a an 8-3 record, it should be able to get you to like play on one of those New Year's Eve 6 bowls or whatever the hell they call them. I doubt they're gonna, even though they win the Pac-12, I don't know if they can make the Rose Bowl, just because I think the Rose Bowl is part of the college football playoff or something like that. So it's not going to count for them for like the winner of the Big Ten, winner of the Pac-12. So they definitely could make one of those other games and play against a highly talented team, even though they did lose to Ohio State this last year. But I think they have a chance to get back and show the rest of the nation what they're made of. And talking about the Chargers schedule, I think they could win about 5 to 6 of those games. So going with their record now, they could be 10-6 or 11-5 at the end of the season. Probably most likely not winning the AFC West division, just because the Chiefs already have the W on them, and then they would just be maybe tied, but I still believe they're probably going to lose that second game because it's going to be in Kansas City, and they'll just have to play for a wild card. They'll have to go on the road, but pretty much the whole rest of the playoffs. But obviously it shouldn't really matter. You could be able to beat anybody anywhere if you think you're that good. I think they have a chance, especially with Joey Bosa coming back, and if the main possibility by October 30th, the trade deadline of getting Patrick Peterson added to your defensive roster. I mean, there's hardly anybody that can try to contend with them, especially on defense, but we'll just have to wait and see. Lofa Tatupu, I remember we mentioned him, he was a finalist for the Polynesian Hall of Fame, but looks like he got in. So congrats to him, ex-USC guy. So very cool to see. And then I don't know how this didn't get into my last video, I don't know how I didn't select it, but over the weekend, yes, the USC men's water polo team did get another win. So congrats to them. Pretty sure it's going to be a 3-time champion right there, so we'll see. Hopefully they can make history. But thanks for watching, people. Like and subscribe, comment down below. Let me know what y'all think. Have a great rest of your day.